What's up, guys? Anthony Church here, and today we're going to be breaking down all 10 tracks from my brand new fall-themed project called Leaves and Soil. So let's get into it. Track number 1 is called From the Earth, and the title pretty much represents the whole theme of the project, which is, in the fall time, leaves fall to the ground, they enrich the soil, and from the earth, new life is created. So I really wanted the title to kind of represent that, and I felt like that whole process, and really when I came up for the theme of the album and I was studying this, it just seemed like a very peaceful process, and it was very fascinating to see how nature works. So I wanted the music to kind of reflect that, and so I chose to do more of a ballad with this one. No drums, not really a beat. I would just consider this a very melodic ballad. It has strings, it has keys, it's very slow, it's very emotional though, and I think it paints a very good picture of the type of vibe that I wanted to set with the project overall. So I love how this one came out. I used it in the teaser video for the project. I think this is gonna be very well received, and it's kind of a preview of some things I want to do moving forward, doing more melodic ballads. And when I put the project together in 2023, this was one that I felt very strongly about. And I had been creating a good amount of ballads that whole year, just to kind of experiment and try new things outside of just hip hop and lo-fi stuff. So I thought this served the purpose I wanted it to exactly. And I think it's a great introduction for this whole project. Track number 2 is called Mist. I think the title itself came from representing a fall morning, just kind of going outside, seeing the dew on the leaves, on the grass, but really just having an appreciation for life in general and just the peaceful, calming nature that fall can bring. So that's really what I wanted to do, and I kind of combined almost like a mellow coffee shop type vibe in a track with some more up-tempo percussion, but it has groove to it for sure. Not really jazz elements in this one, but I just felt it was the perfect track to following From the Earth, and just kind of letting you know, like, okay, we're heading into this journey now of this project. So Mist is a really good one, and I think it falls perfectly in track number 2, and I'm excited to see how that one is received by people. And I think it could be, received pretty well into certain types of lo-fi playlists as well. So I'm excited for the potential that track has. Number 3 is the first single from the project called Immunity. I did the behind the beat for this track. It was a very simple beat to put together. Mostly the jazzy keys is really my favorite main element, and just kind of rearranging that whole progression into what it became. And again, I wanted to keep the slow moving theme kind of going, because the whole point of this project, I think, is to be easy listening. And that's a big reason I put this one out as the first single, because I wanted it to represent the fact that you can just throw this whole project on and just really vibe out, and you don't have to think about a whole lot. It's not meant to be introspective. It's just meant to be very relaxing and calming. And I felt like this one definitely represented that up front. And I liked putting it out, as a single, and I'm excited to see how people enjoy it within the context of the full project itself. Immunity is definitely still a standout for me, and I'm glad that it was able to be a big factor on this particular album. Track number 4, which is called Habitat, probably has my favorite melodic elements out of this whole project. I love the way that I arranged the keys on this, and these keys are kind of an ode to people like Mad Keys, who's one of my favorite producers. He uses this type of sound in a lot of his beats. It's just very soft. I don't know if it's Rhodes or something else, but I just love very soft melodic keys, and I wanted to add a little bit more punchy drums to it. And I think just the marriage of sounds with all this, everything that was included in this song specifically, really just works. It works very well, and it's another track that I think is going to be kind of a sleeper track. This might be kind of the one that people gravitate toward a lot. especially if you are into more upbeat lo-fi styles, but definitely melodic lo-fi styles for sure. So Habitat is probably one of my personal favorites, and I hope other people can get the same appreciation out of it that I had creating it for sure. Track number 5 is called Continuous Cycle, and it probably features the most elements out of any of the other tracks. We got some guitar in here, we got some great chords throughout the main melody. I love the vocal elements that I used in this. They're more like vocal pads combined with strings. I think they worked very well, and I very much love the outro, which kind of, once the drums fade out or the drums kind of go away, it goes into those chords mixed with the vocal elements. And I think it just works incredibly into the fade out. So this one, it fits great where it is in the middle of the project, because it kind of gives you another side of the sound and what I was going for overall. And the name Continuous Cycle itself kind of just represents the cycles of nature, and just how every year is just the repeating cycle of life and kind of just going through the motions in that way. So yeah, I think Continuous Cycle is probably the most experimental I got with this, and probably the most out there, and I think it kind of fits my signature sound the most, probably out of all 10 of these tracks. Track number 6 is called Nostalgic Experience. Obviously this was a single. This was probably the most mellow song on the project, and I wanted it to be released before the album itself so people could enjoy it on its own. This particular track always kind of reminded me of some slow, mellow R&B. It reminds me of something that, an artist like Leon Bridges would probably enjoy or probably gravitate towards, or just somebody that has a very sultry voice. So I always thought, maybe an artist could get on this thing, and maybe I could do a remix or a rework to this one day, but I felt like it fit the vibe of the full album. So I wanted to include it in this project. And it's another one that could be in like a coffee shop playlist or just an easy listening playlist. So I'm thrilled to see, where that one's gonna end up. But this is another one that I'd say is probably in my top 3 of this project, because I just love the sound. I love how vibey it is. I love how you can kind of just get lost in this song and enjoy it all on its own or with, the context of the project. Track 7 is called Foliage. Obviously Foliage is, fall themed, the leaves. There's actually a producer named Foliage Beats who I didn't know about until I made this song. Maybe he'll see this, I don't know, but Foliage Beats, shout out to you, man. Kind of wish, we collabed on this project in some type of way. But I promise the name did not come from you, the producer. It just came from, being fall themed, related to leaves, related to that sort of thing. And this is another very mellow track, kind of fitting. I think the sequencing with Nostalgic Experience makes total sense, because this is another one that has very lush chords, but very slow chords. I love the bass guitar in this, and the way that it pairs perfectly with the percussion. It's just a nice track. I think it just makes sense why it's in here. Even outside of the name itself, I think just the sound itself fits with exactly what I wanted to do. So I hope people enjoy this one. It's another nice, smooth track. Track 8 is called Park Bench, and that name specifically represents just sitting on a bench, kind of just reflecting on life a little bit. During the fall season, I think a lot of people like to go out and enjoy nature while they still can before the winter hits. So I like to go to parks, and sometimes I will sit on the bench and just kind of think about life. And that's kind of what this instrumental reminded me of. So that's why I wanted to pair it with that title itself. And when I did some of the promo for this album, I believe in Spotify, the canvas is just a park bench that I filmed during the fall season last year. And when I paired it with the music, I was like, wow, this actually does fit very well with the scenery. So yeah, I really like it. And again, with the sequencing theme continuing, the way that it just keeps flowing from one track to the next, Park Bench is another nice, smooth, easy listen. And yeah, I hope people get that sense that I got, where it's more of just being able to reflect on life with this track specifically. So I hope people definitely enjoy this one. Track 9 is the third single from the project called Embrace. This one is probably the most different one out of all the tracks. It lifts the energy way back up. This one, I don't know if I was ever on the fence about putting this on the project, but I still felt like it was gonna lead, like where I put it in the project makes total sense because it leads exactly into the outro. But it has probably the most energy. It's the most up-tempo song. It features brass elements. It features a nice summer-esque guitar, but I still feel like it works for the fall season as well. Very vibrant, very high energy compared to the other ones, but it still doesn't take away from the other songs on the project, and I still feel like it fits very well and serves a purpose in this project. It's a great track. And yeah, I mean, like I said, the way that it goes from those really mellow songs into this one specifically on the project, I think it just makes total sense. I think as a single on its own, you might not understand why it would be included in a fall themed project, but when you listen to the full album, I think you will gain an appreciation for it for sure. Track 10, the outro, is called Where It Ends. And this track is probably my personal favorite. Like if I have the top 3, like I said, what did I say? I said Habitat, I said Nostalgic, I believe, and this one. I'd say this one's probably the favorite just because of the way that it turned out. And when I heard it, you know, I think I probably made this in the summer of 2023. I kind of just knew it had to be included on this project. I love how I have it building up all the way through the hook and then have the break with nothing, complete silence, and then it goes right back into the choruses, or the verses, I mean. I love that so much. That, I'd say for sure, was inspiration I got from Apollo Brown, who's one of my favorite producers. He has several beats that I'm aware of that he'll do that. He'll kind of create a full build up and then drop everything out for like a second and then bring it all back. So I wanted to kind of do an ode to that with this song. And I just love the way it turned out. I love the sound selection here. This is just my type of beat. So if I had to pick an absolute favorite, I think this is the one. And I don't know, I guess I just called it Where It Ends because this is where the project ends. And I think this one is gonna be one that people will definitely enjoy, for sure. And like I said, it just gives the right type of cap onto this full album as a whole. So I really, really love this track. So that is it. That is the 10 tracks for Leaves in Soil. The project is now streaming on all platforms. It's also on Bandcamp, and even if you want to go support there as well. Like I said, you know, fall themed albums have been done many times by a lot of people and a lot of producers. It's something that it's just, people love the fall. You know, I myself, I've never been the biggest fall person, but I think that fitting music with that season has always been a big thing, and I wanted to try that myself and try that out and see what that sounded like from my own perspective. And I'm glad I was able to do this because this project felt very natural. It didn't feel forced at all. It felt like a project I needed to do, and I'm very glad I did it, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. So like I said, go check it out, all streaming platforms. Check out the links in this video. And thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.